Kelly.
Lovely to see you.
And you.
So I'm curious to know how you actually got into coaching.
Okay, to keep a long story short, when I left the multi-office law firm that I was a partner in at that point, I'd been in the industry for about 17 years. However, I had a real interest in how the mind works, how we think, how we change and grow from a very, very young age. And I think I probably asked my parents some fairly interesting questions. They might have been concerned a few times as I was growing up. However, that had stayed with me. So it carried on throughout my legal career in terms of my personal development, my leadership development, developing others. And likewise, pretty much from the get-go of becoming a trainee, I had a real interest in business development, marketing. So again, I had carried on through my career. Now, when I left, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so I initially decided to set up my own law firm because I thought maybe if I was in more of control, I had more flexibility around my hours and days, that perhaps I would enjoy it more. And no was the answer. However, as I said, because I'd had this ongoing interest in development, I went on a course, and it was a coaching course. Now, at the time, I had no idea it was a qualification. So this was definitely the solicitor that didn't read the small print and didn't read the big print because it was everywhere. But anyway, I was on this course and I realized very, very quickly that these were the skills that I've been trying to use for myself, as I say, and in developing others. And the coaching business took off pretty much instantly from there, which was about 5 years ago now.
Oh, amazing. So what does your job now involve day to day?
Well, I tend to work with three types of clients, essentially. The first client is somebody who's got a very specific goal in mind. So they want to achieve a promotion, or they want to change careers. They may not even know what to, or they have a personal goal in themselves. The second type of client, we're really working on, they want to develop their leadership skills, their management skills, their interpersonal, behaviors, reactions and skills. And again, they can either be new to role or they've been in a role for a while, but they're really focusing on those skills. And then the third one tends to be where I'm working more with partners and law firm owners, and we tend to again be focusing on roughly three topics. The first one is taking control of our time, taking control of our days, our weeks, our months, and so we're really working on time effectiveness for them because we're all a little bit different. The second part, which kind of leads on a little bit from that, is getting the hurdles out of the way, getting everything, clearing all of the things out of the way that's getting in the way of them completing the business projects, the management projects that keep being put off, but they keep saying that they want to complete. And then the third one tends to be around sort of the ongoing work that they want to do. So that can again be developing their leadership, their management, their interpersonal skills. It can be creating that thinking time to think more strategically, to be able to be more proactive. And this is really about focusing on the direction that they want to take the firm. So those are the three areas.
That's really interesting, actually. Why are people feeling that they're not achieving those, and how do they kind of go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've all set New Year's Day goals, and then perhaps they've not always come to fruition, whether it's a personal goal, whether it's a business goal, as you say. And again, it's quite a big topic to unpack. But again, I'm going to break it down into probably three areas that we tend to, or I tend to focus on. The first one is making sure that we're clear that this is a goal, that we're very clear on the goal that we want, so the outcome that we want. So we want to try and get it as specific as possible. We want to visualize it, we want to imagine it, we want to kind of here, what it's going to be like if we achieve it. So we want to get really clear on the outcome that we want.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is we want to make sure that it's our goal. So it's something we do really want. It's not a should goal. And if it's perhaps coming from external because of, like perhaps a work goal, that we can see the value in it, that it's something we do want to achieve. The reason being is that as humans, we either are working towards pleasure, so all the things that we want to do, and that's why we want to make it as, as real, as visceral as possible. Or we are moving away from pain. And our unconscious mind is trying to keep us safe. A lot of people now, we know this, it's trying to keep us safe. So if we feel that there's any danger in the loosest sense of the word, we haven't got kind of tigers and lions leaping out at us. But if we feel that something is unsafe about the goal that we're achieving, then we will avoid it. This is where procrastination comes in. Procrastination is a tool to keep us safe because we don't want to do the thing that we say we want to do.
Yeah.
We can self-sabotage in other ways we don't achieve it, which is why then focus on the third step. And this is where people often don't kind of look at. This is kind of the gap that people don't explore. We tend to look at why do we want it, and kind of go forward from there. Yeah. And again, this is because if we focus on the pain point, what we want to do is we want to look at, again, three things. The first is, why don't we want to do the tasks? Okay. Now, we might think, well, of course I want to do some of it, but let's put it in the context of fitness because it's an easier kind of analogy. So we've set this fitness goal, and we then look at what do we need to do in terms of the task or activities to get there. And we might be looking at and thinking, right, I don't want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, or like the 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. clubs that are around at the moment. I don't want to be out in the rain. I don't like running. I don't want people to see me in my fitness gear. Whatever it is, we want to know what it is, because then we can choose what we're going to do. So some of it is perhaps going to need to be like motivation, sucking it up, accountability to get us out the door. Yeah. Some of it might be changing the activities or changing our approach. Some flexibility there. And the same is true for whatever other goal we want. So why don't we want to do the tasks? The second one is, why don't we want the outcome? Which again, people are thinking, okay, of course I want the outcome, otherwise why would I the goal? But the point is there can be reasons that we feel uncomfortable about achieving the goal. So, with the fitness goal, maybe we don't want to have those awkward conversations around the change in our physique, about why we're not eating in the same way that we didn't. We don't want people talking about our weight. We don't want to be having conversations about why we might be changing our social habits. Perhaps we're concerned that people are going to be unkind to us because they in the loosest sense are jealous, or envious rather is the word there, about some of the changes we make. And the same is true for business. Like if we're uncomfortable about any elements of our success, we leaving people behind, their comments and who do you think you are, or we're uncomfortable with kind of having a different lifestyle, of a higher income, of living in a different way, then again we will perhaps do something unconsciously, maybe, or quite often, to self-sabotage, it will get in our way, because our unconscious mind is trying to keep us safe. So it's trying to be helpful, but it's actually being unhelpful. So it's why don't we want that outcome? And then the third bit is, why don't we think we are the person that can do that, that can have that, that can be that? And those are our self-limiting beliefs, because if we think I'm not that person, or I'm not capable of achieving that, then we won't. And in part, it's because of this, like there's this cycle of, we set the goal, we don't think we can achieve it in some way, and then we're worried about failure. So what happens is we then don't put our all in, because if we put our all in and then don't achieve, then that's really going to hurt in our minds. So then we don't put our all in, and then because we haven't put our all in, what is the outcome like? probably not that great, which reaffirms our belief that we you know, so we can get into this circle. So again, it's just really being aware of what self-limiting beliefs we have about why we can't have that thing. Because then we can reframe it. We can choose to, you know, reframe it and create a more empowering belief, or we can notice those things and go, okay, I'm done with that. Okay, that's not who I'm going to be anymore. You know, and you know, one of my you know, strong kind of I can't remember what the word is, but quotes is the word I'm looking for, that I refer to a lot, and you know, it's up on my board, is, you know, it's not who you are that holds you back, it's who you think you are not.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It is really fascinating. Like you said, it's breaking down the overwhelm, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, as you say. And with this, you know, we're creating those steps as well, so we kind of know where we're going and the steps that are going to take us there, and that can be eked out by this process once we know what we kind of want to do and what we want to not do in that process. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this leads quite nicely to the next question, actually. So what obstacles have you overcome in your own career?
Well, I haven't had like this one huge obstacle, other than perhaps trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But you know, this huge kind of border that I had to kind of smash through. I think, like a lot of people, I did experience a couple of things that you know, were unhelpful, definitely. Now, growing up, I have to say, it wasn't until I got into the workplace that I was even aware of in this instance, sexism. I was completely oblivious. I just carried on, you know, through university into the workplace. It just wasn't on my radar. And then certain things happened, and I started to kind of question what was going on, you know, behind closed doors, you know, overtly. And I started to realize that was present, unfortunately. So that definitely came up at times. And the other thing, which I think you know, a number of people will be familiar with, is having to experience and be subjected to repeat toxic and unhelpful behaviors by individuals, and the organizations, you know, the firms, the organizations, not doing anything about it, like being aware, not doing anything about it, possibly even encouraging it. And you know, if I could wave a magic wand, you know, across the world, I'd be getting rid of all discrimination, so sexism, racism, disability discrimination, and so forth, and you know, getting a line drawn on allowing these repeat toxic behaviors from continuing it in workplaces, because it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.